Hey everybody, I am Damian Holbrook from TV Guide Magazine and TV Insider, and I am sitting here Zooming with Al Roker, the co-anchor and weather anchor of the Today Show, and the co-host of the third hour of the Today Show. And also, you are now leading NBC News's climate unit, I hear.
Yes, we have as the climate, I think, has taken on a bigger and bigger portion of our consciousness. I think, and I credit Andy Lack and Noah Oppenheim, who run our news divisions, said this is a big deal. And so not just here, but around the world. And so they've taken a number of our disparate parts, like from the weather unit to some of our environmental folks, our technical folks, our technology people, and just brought us all together under one roof. And so, and they asked me to head it up, and I was thrilled to do it.
Right. And now, just in time for Earth Day.
Yes, yeah. And we had a whole plan. We were going to be traveling and looking at issues up and down the eastern seaboard that relate to climate change and sea level rise. And we were going by train to try to be a little more sustainable. And of course, with everything that's happened, that's kind of gone by the wayside. Right. But we are still working on climate stories. One of them is a look at what's happened with emissions and this pandemic and how they have dropped precipitously. Yeah. Obviously, nobody wants to see air quality improvements at the expense of people's lives, of global economies. But are there takeaways? Are there things we can learn from this to, that would allow us to maybe coming out of this, try to sustain what we've gained as far as air quality?
Right. Well, it's something that I was very fascinated by because like a week into this whole thing, it was, oh, the canals of Venice are so clean now, there's dolphins in them. And it was like, maybe not. But we are seeing a lot of changes in the way people are living. I mean, I personally, I live in Philadelphia and I bought a bike.
Yeah.
And I'm riding my bike around. I feel like a lot of people will be making some adjustments during this time.
Well, I think, I think there's going to be a readjustment of, say, maybe best practices. Look, we want as many people back to work. We want people safe. We want people healthy. But, when we look at just say business meetings, do we really have to fly a bunch of people in to have an hour or 2 hour or 3 hour meeting when we have adjusted to the Zoom? I mean, I would say 80% of the people who had never heard of Zoom, 4 or 5 weeks ago, now are Zoom experts. I think people are going to be rethinking best practices. And I think a lot of that will end up benefiting the environment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. And what do you plan to do for Earth Day this year now? Like, will there be specials? Do you have any projects?
Well, we've got a few stories that we've prepped. I know the one that I just mentioned, I think it's running on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And then we're just going to kind of do, and we've been over the last year kind of working in environmental pieces and climate pieces into our daily weathercast on the Today Show. And what's fascinating is I was, I guess, anticipating maybe pushback from a certain segment of the audience. And there's been little to none. It'd be negligible. I think I can count on 2 hands twice in the last year of complaints we've gotten about what we've done. And because we're not pontificating, we're not editorializing, we're just presenting science. Right. Here's what's happened.
And what you've said, you've gone on record, like this is not a political thing at all. This is
it's not. It has nothing to do with politics. This is pure science. Mm-hmm. There are those, I guess, who would like to make it political, but I think they do so at their own peril. And I think there has been a tipping point. I think Americans, and I think people globally, but I certainly think Americans now see this, and poll after poll shows that people care about the climate. They are concerned about it.
You're doing so much. You're doing the climate union. You're doing the third hour of today. You're doing the weather anchoring. And you also have a book coming out?
Yeah, it's called You Look So Much Better on Television. I'm sorry, You Look So Much Better in Person. Because yeah, it's funny, literally once a day at the Today Show window, when we go out to shake hands, which who knows if we'll do that ever again. I mean, we'll go outside, but I don't know about handshaking anymore. Who knew that Howard Stern and Howie Mandel
they were ahead of the curve?
We're way ahead of the curve. Who knew? But somebody would say, oh my gosh, you look so much better in person. And I know they meant it as a compliment, but you know, when you break it down, that really isn't. Because I make my living on TV. So, you know, so in person, yeah, you're not so scary. On TV, your children are crying and running for their mothers. But, you know, in person, not so much of a gargoyle. Okay. So, you know, and it's basically, and it's what I've learned, kind of life lessons or work lessons, really, more. What I've learned over, you know, this 40 years of plus of working in TV.
Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time. Happy Earth Day. Congratulations. I heard your daughter got engaged.
Yes, she did. So that's very exciting. And, you know, in the midst of you know, all this, there's always good news. There's silver linings to be found. And and I listened. I think I almost instinctively listen. I don't know if you heard Governor Cuomo yesterday saying, don't criticize your daughter's boyfriend because that will only push them closer to the boyfriend. And I happen to actually like my future son-in-law, so that's even better. But I didn't have to pretend to like him because it worked out well. Her previous boyfriend, not so much, but you know, but I kept my tongue.
And that's why he's previous. Excellent. Al, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too, Damien. Take care.